All right. So tell me your thoughts. I mean, I'm interested to hear. I am interested to hear.
Okay, let's start off with Kamala. Kamala was the best part. She was funny as hell. She's the entire time fangirling. But yeah, I like Kamala. Miss Marvel was awesome. I mean, she's just fangirl. Because actually, right after I watched the Marvels, I started the first episode of Miss Marvel. Great
Yeah.
opening, by the way. And yeah, the entire time she's just fangirl. And so the fact that she's on the team with her, I thought was awesome. I
Yeah,
like
I
the
gotta say,
whole. Mhm.
Miss Marvel was probably the only thing that was enjoyable in that movie. The way she acted like a fangirl, I liked
Mhm.
that gimmick. I was a fan of that. I was okay with that because the way she acted, I think she was the only one that was actually trying.
Oh yeah.
Everyone else was literally just there for a paycheck.
She was the only one I really liked. Like, I mean, Captain Marvel. I mean, she does a little more than the last movie, but it's at the end of the day, it's really she's still flat. Like, there's nothing about her that stands out when you have all these characters, all these MCU characters. Like, she just falls flat. Like, even Captain America, who he kind of annoyed the shit out of me in the first Avengers, and then he became one of my favorites. Like, even
Yeah.
he stands out. So she just kind of like there. Like, okay, you're. It shouldn't even feel all that powerful. I'm watching this movie and I'm just like, shouldn't you be able to do all this by yourself? But then again, she had that power switch and stuff. So yeah. But yeah, no, I like that one action scene where they fighting with the powers switching and all that from the house to the ship. That scene was awesome. Come on, you ain't like that scene?
No,
Bro,
no,
you
no.
ass, you
But
ass.
what actually did you enjoy about the movie other than Miss Marvel and a few of the action sequences? You told me you gave it a
Oh
7 out of 10, man.
yeah, well, yeah, that there you go, that because I mean hell, Miss Marvel was in the whole movie, which made the whole movie enjoyable. You had some cool action scenes, so that made it somewhat enjoyable. The only scene with The only scene I really liked that had Captain Marvel, in head was the singing planet. I like that part.
Oh my gosh, that's
But
the
yeah,
thing that pissed me off so much.
now if they didn't have like Miss Marvel in the movie, I wouldn't care for it one bit. But because she's in the movie and she's really enjoyable, actually, yeah, I like it. So yeah, it's yeah.
All right.
Ooh, and
So,
Monica fine as hell. Monica fine as hell. Like
okay,
man,
so first of all, they're similar BS light-based powers. How did they all get intersynced? They never explain that. Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau both touch something toxic and radioactive for some apparent reason. How did Kamala get stuck in the rotation? And since she has a bracelet just like the whatever her
uh,
name is,
I think it was Derma,
whatever,
dermatologist, Darbin.
Arben, yeah,
Darbin.
like her, why wasn't she stuck in the rotation?
Mm.
What reason was it there? And so their planet was dying. Remember, the whole concept was the villain was pulling a Spaceballs, sucking the
Yeah,
atmosphere and everything
I heard
from
about that.
from the planet. That's her goal. How did Miss Marvel, who destroyed the Supreme Intelligence, destroy the sun? What does destroying the Supreme Intelligence, which causes a civil war, how does any of that lead to the sun being destroyed? Unless their civil war caused the sun to be destroyed. And at that point in time, is it Captain Marvel's fault? Wouldn't it be their own fault for destroying the sun, since they were the ones who were at civil war with each other? Because Captain Marvel freed them from the Supreme Intelligence. How is she known as the Annihilator when they destroyed their own sun? Or did destroying the Supreme Intelligence somehow destroy the sun? These questions are never answered. It's absolutely aggravating. The entire time I was waiting for that question to be answered, it never once was answered. And the weapon that Darben is using, I remember the Guardians of the Galaxy destroyed that into 1,000 little bits. Oh, and also seeing Darben carry it around looked absolutely comical. The way she was just holding it, walking, it was like, swing that thing around like you know how to use it. Toss it over your shoulder. Just, you know what I mean, man. You know what I mean. You have a man in that role, he would exactly know how to handle that hammer.
Okay, stop.
No, Ronan the
Stop.
Accuser, watch how he handles it. In Guardians of the Galaxy, he knows how to wave that thing around without looking like a total prop.
Yeah, gotcha.
And they cast her like a dude. The way she moves around, the way she's dressed, she feels like they're supposed to be a 6'5" man, a 6 foot something, 7 foot dude in her role. Not this tiny petite female. It made the epic fight at the very end, the one you enjoy, absolutely meaningless to me. Okay, not the very end. Okay. Because it was just the thing I didn't like was there were 3 women who were ganging up on one small petite woman. Now, if you have a dude in that role, it would make more sense. It would be more interesting, and I would back the women more. Right here, I was like, I'm on the side of Darben because, well, she looks like she's going to lose no matter what. She's outnumbered. Everyone is her size. She has less power than the rest of them. She has one hammer, which has already been destroyed by the Guardians, and she has the same bracelet that Kamala Khan has. Oh, also, tell me, how was it that her bracelet could absorb powers when Kamala Khan's couldn't? What made them linked in any way?
Well, one is positive and one is negative, probably.
Tell me, how is the planet that sings in English not just another accent? How is it they can't understand English when they're singing in English? Now, if they were singing in a different language and only understood that, you would have to be speaking, because that's basically like the writer saying, oh, I can't understand anyone from Britain because their English accent isn't like my accent. Oh, I can't understand anyone from New York because their English accent isn't like my English accent. Oh, I can't understand anyone who's speaking English from any other place in the world because they don't have my exact accent. That absolutely pissed me off. It was like, you're singing in English. You're singing in English. They're not singing in a different language. It's not a different language at all. It's the same exact language. It's just an accent. Oh, he's bilingual. That line pissed me off. It was like, no, he just can understand more accents. Apparently, unlike the director or writer or whoever thought this piece of dialogue was epic.
I did like that he's bilingual.
It was the dumbest thing. It was so aggravating. This movie had so many pointless things in it that made no sense. Oh, and tell me why. So you remember Kamala Khan, they started switching places. Captain Marvel walks down the stairs. The door's destroyed. And the mother and father and brother are all sitting in the same spot.
Yeah, I liked them, by the way. The family was great.
Kamala Khan returns, teleports back, the same place that the parents were sitting in, the family was sitting in, are still sitting there, and they know the door's destroyed. Kamala Khan disappears again, and before their eyes, and reappears with a cat with tentacles coming out of its mouth. And they're still sitting in the exact same spot without even moving. A stranger popped into their house, walked out the front door. They didn't move. She appeared in front of their eyes. They didn't
nitpicking now. Stop nitpicking.
Away from them and teleported back. They didn't move.
You nitpicking now.
This is not nitpicking. This is not nitpicking. This is editing issues. This is directing issues. I'm not.
Look at it. He heated.
Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, I like. Oh, hey, what about Goose though? That Goose was funny as hell when he had to eat all the people to get onto the ship.
But that's
don't tell me
I realized to enjoy that because everything was so dumb. I enjoyed that. Goose was hunting everyone. Goose was hunting everyone, and I'm like, okay, this is fine.
It turned into a horror movie with that one woman when she was like hiding behind the wall and she turns around.
Yeah, and then he's already there.
Oh, that is perfect. Honestly, that was that and the action scene when they're first switching powers. Those were my 2 favorite scenes.
Oh, but that movie was just so awful. I couldn't find anything that was enjoyable. The villain absolutely had nothing.
Was hey, there you go. Guilty. Man, I miss him. But the villain was weak as hell though.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was like Kamala Khan was literally the only one that was enjoyable. That's just because she was meeting her idol. And it was enjoyable to see her act all, because everyone has been star-studded. Like when you met Keanu Reeves, I bet you could feel exactly the way Kamala Khan felt in that moment.
Yeah,
you acted exactly the same way.
Not as much.
Sure, not as much. But that's the thing. It was like That's something I could understand, but everything else is just the whole story in and of itself. The fact that they're getting revenge, they're taking the atmosphere from every planet that Captain Marvel apparently has a connection with. It was like you're blaming her for something she obviously didn't cause, unless there was some of the, because they removed like 60 minutes from the story.
Oh, thank God.
What do you mean? I thought you loved the movie, dude. You gave it a 7 out of 10. That's normally
60
when you want
minutes,
more.
bro? That's a whole hour, 2 hours and 48 minutes. Hell no, I ain't
Mhm.
watching all that. I know it ain't gonna be that good. But it's the thing
Yeah.
though. I expected it to be what I wanted it to be, a stupid little fun kind of action comedy. And that's what I kind of got.
Yeah. But I didn't like
It's better. Mhm.
like there were the gags. Like, okay, so Monica Rambeau doesn't need a spaceship, a suit in space, right?
Mhm.
She can breathe in space. The only reason they had her one in the beginning was for the
It's the
gag.
Kamala.
Yeah, to be
Yeah.
stuck in it. It was like, this is the dumbest thing. You're doing all these things for no purpose other than trying to make a joke.
Yeah.
I was so confused at some parts because I'm like, I don't know if this is supposed to be funny or this is just, I don't know what they were going for. I mean, it's great that you liked the movie, but I, for one, was so enraged by it.
I don't know. I think I'd turn it on every once in a while. Yeah, I'd watch it every once in a while. I still haven't even touched Captain Marvel, the first one. That first one still sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, it's better than most of the stuff that's come. Like, this is way better than Thor: Love and Thunder. Thor: Love and Thunder sucked.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that. I think it's just because they saw that Ragnarok worked, so they were just like, okay, we're about to do that times 10, and that's
lean
when it
into the
sucked.
comedy. Lean into the comedy.
I might watch that one more time because there's no way in hell I want to say a Captain Marvel movie is better than Thor. I can't do it.
Right? There's many eye care centers around the world that treat them for that cancer. But yeah, I had so many issues with that film because I literally had to see it twice because I forgot everything. So when I started out like watching it, I realized, okay, this is a movie about 3 girls who clocks are basically forced to be together and their clocks aren't in sync. And they don't get along until they synchronize their clocks.
Oh, wow.
And as soon as they do, they get to play with their kitties. They get to play with their kitties and swallow a ton of people with their cats. And after they do that, they get to beat on another poor woman.
That just sounds so bad.
Exactly. That's the synopsis for the Marvels. Because I was watching it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, when I see it that way, I just felt so wrong. I felt so dirty. But yeah, that's the synopsis for the Marvels. They needed their clocks to synchronize. But that was the thing. So you know how they were trying to get the bracelet off of Dar-Ben and they didn't want so the entire time when they were training to get their clocks synchronized, why weren't they also training to take the bracelet off of Kamala Khan? Like sparring with her and trying to remove it. So that way they know how to take it off her wrist instead of just trying to grab it. Because you know that whole fight scene that you really like, they're just reaching for it, trying to grab it. And I'm like, that thing they know opens. They had access to one of them for a long period of time. The fight scene I
really liked was the first one.
Yeah. And also,
don't act like they all the same. That first one was fire.
They're all the same.
That first one was fire. Especially when the family got involved too.
Yeah. Teleporting through space and everything.
This is my thing.
Was like, okay. So what is it? Monica Rambeau can phase in that epic fight in the house. Why didn't she phase in the beginning? She was allowing them to push her around the house, and then when they're finally about to stab her, she phases. And I'm like, you could have done that a long time ago.
I thought that was a new power for her. Like I thought she was still learning how to do that.
No, the new power for her was flying. Because even remember, she touched the electrical mystical stuff by phasing out of her suit.
Yeah.
She learned how to phase by walking through a mystic's portal.
Hey, stop nitpicking, bro. It's an action scene. Stop nitpicking.
I'm not nitpicking. That stuff is blatantly obvious.
You nitpicking. It happens. Sometimes you know you got something you can do, but then you don't think about doing it because you're so up in the moment. She was in the moment. And then she's like, oh yeah, I can phase. Boom. Stop nitpicking.
Dude, you need to start actually watching movies and not
I
going,
watched the
Pretty
movie.
Woman, Pretty Woman.
I watched the movie, bro. Like I said,
Like I'm not gonna lie. I've had more fun enjoying myself editing the video because I had clips from like Zoolander. I had clips from like all kinds of movies to throw in there. I had more fun doing that than I did watching the movie because I was just kept seeing the same issues over and over and over again. You call it nitpicking, but when it's so blatantly obvious, like you didn't have an issue with the fact that the hammer that was destroyed into millions of little bits returned somehow. Oh, and that reminds me. So Kamala Khan was reading her bracelet. Why is English written on that thing? Isn't that an ancient artifact? Sure, she got it from her grandmother in the mail.
Which by the way, I'm glad you said ancient artifact. Oh, what is that? You know what this is? It's an ancient artifact. That doesn't tell me what it is.
Yep.
What does it do? That's like Indiana Jones. This is an ancient artifact. Motherfucker, everything's an ancient artifact. What is it? What does it do?
Explain it. Like in the Temple of Doom, that's the Stones of Shiva. In the Ark of the Covenant, it's the Ark of the Covenant. It drains the souls of those who open it. It'll kill them. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. That whole thing. In the Last Crusade, it's the Fountain of Youth, basically.
But did I have a problem with her with that hammer? I was just sitting there thinking, because I forgot that it did get destroyed. I just thought they had a bunch of those around. But honestly, I'm just sitting there thinking, like, what really had me was
named it.
I don't care. Named it. What really had me was the fact that we got the same type of person, just less blue with the same weapon. Damn, this is so trash. I wasn't even thinking about the hammer. It was sad that planet got destroyed when they were trying to save everybody.
Yeah,
that was sad. Like it was funny because I'm sitting there with my snacks, I'm a little turned up, and I had a smile throughout the whole movie until it got to that scene, and I was just like, damn, that just sucked all the joy out of this.
The way she was sucking all the atmosphere off of the planets.
Yeah, that was wild. And this is my thing. Hey, what's that? Durbin. When the second Marvel said she was gonna sit there and go up and give you some sun power, should have just let her do it. The fact that she got that, then she hit and she blew up herself. I was like, bro, this is trash.
Well, you remember the promotional material was talking about how this is supposed to be like a continuation, how that's like she's Thanos's successor. I think that was all irrelevant to her clapping her bangles together. That's why. It was trying to relate it to the snap. She was clapping her bangles together to split realities.
Shit, and end up bringing in the X-Men. And then I thought that was gonna be a post-credit scene with Kamala and Kate Bishop.
But no, I mean, that was right there.
I thought that scene was funny. But they really
Young Justice ever comes out.
They really are getting ready to do it. It really is
MCU. Young Avengers.
It really is MCU.
Yeah. So Miss Marvel's bracelet, she gets that in the mail, and the other one is buried on this random planet in the middle of nowhere. How did Miss Marvel get hers other than her grandmother sitting into the mail? Why was it on Earth in the first place? Why was one of them buried?
Because somebody unburied one, and then they was getting ready to grab the other, but then they saw somebody coming, so then they just say, you know what, it's probably safer if I just keep one with me and then one there. They cornered them. They threw it in a little mail thing, and then it got shipped out to the grandma. Boom.
And Miss Marvel gets her powers from her bracelet, right?
Mm-hmm.
You remember when Darben takes both of them to clap her wrists together?
Yeah.
How did she use her powers to bring them both in? She created a giant hand when both of the bracelets were out in outer space to bring in everyone.
She don't just have powers. I thought the bracelet kind of because remember I didn't watch the Miss Marvel.
I thought you were watching it.
Dude, that was right after. I think I watched the first 10, 15 minutes and I went to sleep. I was tired.
Oh.
Yeah, I plan on watching it though. I mean, they caught my attention with The Weeknd.
Oh,
But I didn't know that bracelet was actually her power. So, oh boy, now that's really a kicker now.
yeah. I
Oh
mean, maybe
God,
she'd been absorbing it the entire time she was wearing it. I mean, there are a lot of things. It was just like, just give me an explanation,
yeah.
please.
Now I'm kind of
Just
like,
a
what's
simple
going on?
throwaway line to answer some of these questions, like the villain saying, like the maybe the supreme intelligence was keeping the sun alive, was holding it hostage, something like that, to make us be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Now I understand why it led to the sun being destroyed. The supreme intelligence was holding the sun hostage. It was literally holding it. So if anyone ever found out that they were being controlled, it would just say, I hold your planet in the palm of my hands. You have to leave me. I mean, that would make sense. A throwaway line to redeem some of the story pieces. But it's like, we don't know. We don't know.
I like Goose though. Goose was,
Yeah.
I like Goose.
Yeah, the whole part where all these kitties are swallowing people whole was was like, I just gotta enjoy it. It's so dumb. I have to just turn off my brain and enjoy it. Because then they had what, Nick Fury reduced to hurting cats.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I was just
he's
like, I was
literally
watching.
there now to get a paycheck.
Yeah, there was no need for Nick. I mean, I liked him because of Sam Jackson, but I'm just like, yeah, you didn't have to be here, bro.
Yeah. At
So
what point do you realize he should have honestly gone out with the big ones?
yeah, I can see that.
After like during Endgame, that should have been where he went. That would have been a perfect set. Well, not really, because they would have destroyed him with Captain Marvel, but it still would have been a good farewell before everyone started saying, "Oh, you didn't do anything. It was the Skrulls pretending to be you that did everything." It was before they started destroying him completely, breaking him down, saying that he was taking credit for women's work and the fact that women know how to do things better. All in the Secret Invasion.
I stopped
And
paying
now he's
attention.
hurting cats. And everyone in the world knows who he is.
Yeah, they got to end that. They got to end his whatever he's doing eventually.
Oh, I found it funny. I was like, why did they change? Like, so, the original name for Saber was Sword. It was
No,
Sword. It was Shield and Sword. And they changed it to Saber for some reason. And immediately it reminded me of that line with Dave Chappelle. So I put that in my video. I smell your lightsaber.
Oh my God, yes.
Threw that in my video because I'm just like, that's the only reason they would change it. The sword fits so much better. So it's just like, oh, they
So
changed it to Saber.
absolutely.
I have seen the Marvels and I had fun editing my review of that. I mean, I had more fun with that because I just felt like I was going insane watching it. I literally felt like I was going nuts. I was seeing all this stuff and I'm like, is nobody seeing this? Does nobody see this? Why does no one do research on these films? You would think the creators of the Marvels would have at least watched the previous Marvel films to understand the continuity of, oh, that hammer was destroyed to 1,000 million pieces. How did the sun get destroyed with the Supreme Intelligence being destroyed? What happened there?
All right, we better start running in circles.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like they don't do research for their own films. They're just like, oh, do whatever you want.